welcome to a new show here at CUTV, Luke's Box Office, a movie review show, and I'm your host, Luke, hence the title of the show, Luke's Box Office. And today we will be reviewing a total of 3 movies. Lee Boyle will be in a couple of seconds to review The Usual Suspects, followed later by a recently released to video movie called Quiz Show, and a segment we like to call Movies We Would Have Liked to Review When They Came Out, but we were probably too young to do so when they did, so we're going to do it now. And the movie we will be reviewing is the 1978 blockbuster hit Superman. But first, here's Lee. Hello, Lee.
Hello.
How's it going?
Good, you?
Not bad.
Yeah, me too. Hello there. Welcome to Lee's movie review on Box Office. I'm Lee, of course. This week's movie, The Usual Suspects, directed by Bryan Singer and written by Christopher McQuarrie. I know we're only in September and there's a couple of months left, but this is the coolest and most kick-ass movie of 1995, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not kidding about that. No matter what kind of movie you prefer, if there's only one movie you should see, it should be that one. The Usual Suspects is the most original, riveting film I've seen in a while. The story is complex, genuine, and full of twists. The question of who done it, why, and how has never been crazier. I love puzzles, and this flick is very much the master of them all. Until the very last minute of the film, I was going insane with delusion. Everything in this movie works well in complementing the brilliant script. The Usual Suspects is stylish, fast-paced, and has a great musical score. All this under the direction of Bryan Singer, who has a great future lying ahead of him. The Usual Suspects is only his second film. Would you believe it or not? Aside from the script, this movie has the greatest cast one can imagine. Are you sick of big commercial 20 million per film stars? Do you feel like seeing a cast of lesser-known actors who are probably more talented than most big stars? Well, what do you know? This cops and robbers flick has exactly what you were looking for. The Usual Suspects holds great performances by Gabriel Byrne, Chaz Palminteri, Kevin Pollak, and Pete Postlethwaite. Stephen Baldwin and unknown actor Benicio del Toro give funny performances. But the show stealer is Kevin Spacey. You might remember him from The Ref. His performance is so good, it's too bad that this movie won't be commercial enough for the prestigious Oscars. I'm sure for some other film festival, he will be recognized. I'd like to tell you what happens in this movie, but that would be a dangerous thing to do. The Usual Suspects is the kind of film you can't say much about, or you might give things away about it. The movie deals basically with the aftermath of a bloody battle aboard a cargo ship where $91 billion of cocaine are supposed to be. What appears to be the only survivor recounts the events leading up to the dreadful night to a forceful cop. What happened to the gang of Usual Suspects who had been hired to pull off the heist? And who was the mysterious Kaiser Soze who was behind it all? Apart from its chilling, brain-twisting suspense, the movie reserves some very dark humor. There are also several one-liners that will keep you laughing for weeks. And the ending, that you'll never see coming, will surprise you more than you've ever been before. The Usual Suspects, a film by Bryan Singer, is the most fun I've had at the cinema since Pulp Fiction, Shallow Grave, or my favorite of all time, In the Line of Fire. On a scale of $1 to $8, I'd give it $7.95. That's pretty damn good. See you next time, and don't forget to save me some of that butter popcorn drenched in that yellow stuff. Back to you, Luke.
Okay, great. $7.95, huh?
Yeah, $7.95.
I think I have to go see that movie.
Good?
Yeah.
It's a good movie?
Good. Okay, so now here's a preview of upcoming movies.
Well,
I'm Preston Richards. What's your name?
Sophia.
Sophia?
Sophia, darling.
Did you say darling?
Yeah, like the family in Peter Pan.
Oh, I thought that...
What?
I thought that you called me darling.
Oh, God, no.
Oh, God, no. Well, I like your name. I like it very much.
Do you now?
When we get married, we'll break tradition so you can keep it.
Excuse me?
Do you duck competitively?
No. I just do it for myself. I like the sensation of falling.
You swim like a mermaid, you know?
I do?
So, what do you want to do with your life?
I don't know. Marry you, I guess.
Wow, what a neat-looking bunch of clips, isn't that, man? You know. Anyways, we'll be back after this. We're back, and now we will be reviewing a recent video release. One of last year's 5 nominees for Best Picture at the Oscars, Quiz Show, starring John Turturro, Rob Moreau, and Ralph Fiennes, directed by Robert Redford. The story is about the true scandal risen from the game show 21 in the 1950s that, in some respect, destroyed television's reputation as an honest medium. In a time where television was still very young, and the American public was still very naive at what television was, for a game show to be rigged was just simply unheard of. But when the incident did arrive, not only did it wreck television's reputation as an honest medium, but it wrecked the trust in the American public as well. If people could spread lies with help of television, at the rate where television was spreading across America, in no time would America be flooded with lies. That was the threat that was risen by this scandal. As one character declared in the film after prosecuting the offenders, I thought I would get television. The truth is, television is going to get us. But of course, that statement is contradicted by another person who says, this is just television. It's entertainment. In other words, it is not made to be taken seriously. This is the premise of Quiz Show. It is not a fast-moving film. It is a total duration of approximately 133 minutes, and as with any other true story, if you are not interested in the subject matter dealt with, you are going to find this movie to be very boring. On the other hand, if you are interested in the media and in television, as I am, you are going to find that this movie is very, very, very good and very interesting. Redford takes the time to show us the disturbance that this kind of scandal caused on the average American, and gives us an outcome that is very appealing and somewhat disturbing. He also puts the audience to the test by giving them certain situations where they have to ask themselves, what if I would have been put in the same situation? Would I have done the same thing? Well, that's up to you to decide, but it is a very good thing to do in a movie of this type. It is a movie that makes you think about oneself, but also of your country. And is it as good as people think it is? This could go as well for Canada as it did for the United States. The movie is very informative and interesting, but it is not fun. But then, I don't think that was ever the idea of this movie. The idea was to be very interesting, as it is. It is powerful in its determination to make us think, which is where it gets its appeal. And if you can stand all that soul-searching, then you will find that this is a very good movie. From a scale from $1 to $8, which is the scale of the money you would spend if you would go out and watch this movie at the theater, I give it $6.50. Now, here's a clip.
Every schoolboy knows about the midnight ride of Paul Revere. For 11 points, how many lanterns were hung in the Old North Church? Who rode with Paul Revere? Who lent him his horse? Was it a mare or a stallion? And what was the horse's name?
Stand by, Joe and Herbie.
Kildare. Tommy Aroff.
A little tighter. Cut him at the sign up.
Control booth. Yeah, hold on, sir. Dan, it's for you. It's Kintner.
Would you mind, Mr. Barry? Could I take the third part last?
That's fine.
The code was 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Therefore, it would have to be 2 lanterns in the Old North Church.
That's right. And the second part, who rode with them?
Dawes and Prescott.
Dawes and Prescott.
What these books have conclusively proven is that the difference between men and women is exactly 38 pages.
Can I quote you, Mark?
Not before I quote me.
His own quotes are his greatest pleasure.
Did you hear the market dropped 30 points today? There's a rumor Eisenhower died.
How would they tell?
Oh, please, don't get Dorothy started on politics. There'll be a raid.
Good night.
Hi, Dorothy. Sorry I'm late. It's impossible out there. You can't get a cab without a dragnet.
Eisenhower died.
What?
Professor Van Doren, I took your course at Columbia. Hawthorne, Original Sin, and the American Experience.
Nixon is president?
Well, as silly as it sounds, it changed my life.
Was it the Hawthorne or the Sen?
Perhaps you'd like to meet my son, the unmarried Van Doren.
Oh, where is Charlie?
You're right again, Herb. You got the first 2 parts correct. Just 3 more for 11 points.
Excuse me, are you the son?
I'm Charlie. Pleasure.
Elizabeth, the pleasure's all mine.
It was a mare, Mr. Barry.
How did he know that?
Oh, there you are.
We're making our getaway, Charlie, if you want to ride.
Have you ever watched one of these quiz shows, Dad? The $64,000 question or 21?
For $64,000, I hope they ask you the meaning of life.
Okay, Herb. Finally, name the man who loaned Paul Revere his horse for that fateful midnight ride.
Okay, Herb, I'm afraid I'm going to have to ask for your answer.
Look, just give him what he wants. I don't want to talk to these agency guys.
So what do you want me to do, Mr. Kendner?
You're a producer, Dan. Produce.
Would you like more time, Herb?
Right.
If I may.
Herpes head.
Larkin? Deacon John Larkin?
That's correct for 11 points. All right, Herb, take a deep breath and relax, will you? And we'll get back to the game after this word from our sponsor.
Back after this. We're back, and now we are up to a point in our show we like to call movies we would have liked to review when they came out, but we were probably too young to do so when they did. So we're going to do it now. And the movie we will be reviewing today is the 1978 blockbuster hit, Superman. Yes, Superman. Okay. Now, Superman, of course, came out of the 1930s action comic books, and after many years of being on TV, in Saturday morning cartoons, and on the radio, by the 1970s, it was considered and it was thought that it was finally time to bring the big guy up to the silver screen in a big budget smash. To do so, the producers of Superman, Aaliyah and Alexander Salkin, went out to find the perfect man to play the part of Superman. And after about 3 years of searching, and after considering such people as Robert Redford, Burt Reynolds, and Sylvester Stallone, of all people, they finally narrowed it down to Christopher Reeve, a little-known actor that up to then had only done work in soap operas and on stage. But looking back, I can't see how they could have made a better decision, because not only did Christopher Reeve look the part, physically, but his brilliance in the part was so exquisite that you could have believed that that was actually Superman. Now, the supporting cast of Superman was amazingly composed of mainly well-known actors, even legends as far as acting is concerned. Such people as Marlon Brando, Gene Hackman, Susanna York, Glenn Ford, Trevor Howard, Jackie Cooper, Terrence Stamp, Ned Beatty, and Canadian-born actress Margot Kidder in the part of Lois Lane. It also featured such cameos as Larry Hagman, John Ratzenberg, and movie critic Rex Reed in sort of a joke since he played the Daily Planet's movie critic. To write the movie, the producers went out and found the person who was probably the best known, most successful, and most respected writer of the 1970s, Mr. Mario Puzo, the writer of The Godfather. And to direct the movie, they got Richard Donner. Now, with these kinds of credentials, how could a movie go wrong? Now, if you're looking for the answer to that question, you're going to look long and hard, and you're not going to find it, because this movie turned out to be the top-grossing movie of 1978. And the appeal of this film came from 3 different points. First of all, the acting, as I said before, was just very good. The movie and the story itself was a combination of comedy and fantasy and drama and action and all these different genres that people normally are used to seeing separate, now combined into one movie that makes a movie that is both very interesting and very entertaining. Also, the special effects were state-of-the-art for the time. And it made you believe that a man could fly and earn an Academy Award that year at the Oscars. Now, the only problem that most people find with this movie is that you have to wait like almost an hour before you actually see Superman saving the day. Now, that might be true, but the story leading up to that point is very interesting, dealing with Superman's origins on Krypton, his upbringing in Smallville, and his decision to become Superman. It's all very interesting and well made, so most people, even though it is long, tend to overlook it once they get up to the good part, which is Superman saving the day, that kind of stuff. So, without any further ado, let's take a look at probably the most famous scene from Superman, the helicopter scene.
Malfunction. Getting a good lift off. Hold the cable. What's happening? Set it down. Set it down. Oh my God, we're off stabilizer rotor control. I can't hold it. I can't. I can't hold it. I can't hold it. He lost it. He lost it. Step back, folks. All right, let's get back to it. We'll get back onto the street. Come on, bring the cameras over here. Okay, get up. Okay, you see the Excuse me. That's a bad outfit. Whoa! Okay, Breslau, move these people out. Come on, look up there.
What the hell's that?
Easy, miss. I've got you.
You've got me. Who's got you? I can't believe it. I just cannot believe it. He got her.
Gentlemen, this man needs help. Well, I certainly hope this little incident hasn't put you off flying, miss. Statistically speaking, of course, it's still the safest way to travel.
Wait! Who are you?
A friend. Bye.
I hope you enjoyed that clip of Superman, and I hope you enjoyed this first episode of Luke's Box Office. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks with a new episode featuring a review of Friday the 13th as part of our Halloween special. So, till then, the office is closed.